How's it going, everyone? Kind of seem a little bit dim right here. Hold on, guys. Let me figure out how I can sort of brighten this up a little bit. I kind of have it a tiny, like usually a little bit brighter than this, but yeah, I kind of not working out. But today, y'all, I'm excited. I want to talk about something because I did get a question, a comment um about what they feel like they're called to do. So basically, they were like looking for some work and they wanted to make sure that their work aligned with who they are. And yeah, they just had some questions. And so I thought this was a really good topic to go over because I know yesterday, whenever I defined recession, and what that meant, typically what happens in the economy. And I talked about when there's a recession, there's a slow economic growth in the economy. So what does that mean? That means that businesses are kind of, they may slow down their economic health. So what does that mean? That means that sometimes in order to protect the company, they have to lay off people. So this is inspired by Myles Munroe's book, Overcoming Crisis. And I thought that this was so key because um, he talks about a very important thing that I think we all need to get right. I think the one question that I hear a lot is, I don't know what I'm called to do, right? My husband talks a lot about your identity and who you are, and who you are and who you need to be, right? And I think it's very important to start at the basics of knowing that you are a child of God, right? And I wanted to bring out something where it says, never confuse your work with your job. And I thought this was so key because a lot of people, and I think I've heard this, is that, if they've been in the NFL or the NBA, or if they had a successful career as something, or let's just bring up, the NFL person, right? They play in the NFL for, 10 years and then, or NBA for 10 years. And then after that, it's like, who am I? Like my identity was attached to this particular thing that I worked for. So if you were in corporate, if you were whatever position that you held, it was like, okay, my identity was attached to that position. But what happens when something shifts with the position? Like, what do you actually do? And in this book, Overcoming Crisis, Myles Munroe, this was so key. I remember getting this, and this was one, like, my favorite book. And trying to make sure that I get comments and everything like that in there. But I was actually looking at this and was astonished by your work. There's a difference between your job and your work. And as I'm trying to fix this, kind of, um, there we go, actual size. So there's a difference between your work and your job. And I wanted to bring those out. Whew, this is going to be some good stuff. So it says your job is what you were trained to do. And then he was talking about your work is very different from your job. And so here's the thing. If something were to happen and they were to lay off you, that means that your purpose, your work is still meant to be fulfilled. Just because you're out of work doesn't mean that you don't have work to do, that God doesn't have any work for you to do. And so just because you don't have that particular job, God has gifted all of us with an innate abilities to carry out our gifting. And so that's why, you may see people who switch jobs or have to move or something. Well, the thing is that even though, I know companies, they usually have to take a stance of everyone is replaceable because we have a certain system. They have to fulfill a certain function within that position. However, everyone is super unique. Everyone is unique to how they function within that particular company. So I'm coming out of the perspective of God is giving you a particular work for you to do. So I love this. And he was talking about, I love what he says here. I'm going to quote some of this. It says, no kind of educational system can teach you your true work because it is your life purpose, and it is revealed by your God-given gifts. No employer on earth can take that away from you. No one can fire you from your work, from your life's purpose. It doesn't matter if you've been fired, they cannot fire you from your life's purpose. If they lay off your job, they cannot lay you off from being yourself, because God has put an innate desire or an innate, he has made us, because if you take it all the way back to Genesis, what was the original intent, right? In Genesis, he says that there was no man to till the ground. And so, like, that's why it didn't rain. And so there was no man to till the ground. And so when man came, he was like, bet we could go ahead and get the ground tilled because there was a man to work. Now, my husband talks about this. I brought this up to him as well, too. There's a difference between when till became toil. You know, God called us to till the land when he created Adam, but it turned into toil after the fall of Adam. So, anyways, it says, when you leave your job, you take your work, which is your innate purpose, with you. Wherever you land, you plant your giftedness so that it can start to grow again. So understand that if you have fallen on hard times, if you have been laid off, if you are in search of some type of work or job, understand that you bring a unique work, a unique calling to a certain position to carry out the work that God has called you to do. So for instance, if you're in nursing, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm called to be a nurse. Yes, that is the position. But what gifts has God instilled in you so that you have the grace in order to nurse, right? In order to become a nurse or a medical person or a doctor or whatever that is, he's put innate giftings on the inside of you so that you have the grace for that. My husband says it all the time. He's like, listen, I have the grace of communication. That's an innate gift and a gifting that he's been able to cultivate, right? He's been able to cultivate that. So he's able to use his mouth, communication. So wherever he goes, and of course, he's a minister, he's a pastor, so he is able to use his mouth. But when he goes into the marketplace, he's able to use his mouth. And guess what? Like, he's able to bring value through his mouth. But guess what? He has a grace for that because it is a gifting on the inside of him. He says, man, if you put me in numbers and put me as an accountant, listen, there's no grace to that. So please do not take lightly what comes easy to you. I tell people all the time, I don't have an eye for design. Yeah, I'm a woman, you know, but I don't have an eye for design. I can't sit here and look at a room and be like, oh my goodness, let's just change it, right? Don't have that. So I like to have people around me that have different giftings, different perspectives that they can use their gifting where I'm not that gifted, where I don't have the grace for it. I may have had a grace in another season, but I don't have the grace for it right now. So it's very important in terms of, and this is what's interesting, is that he's created you to accomplish some type of work. So don't ever think, okay, I'm not working somewhere, God doesn't have a purpose for me. No, he has a purpose for you. He has a purpose for you to accomplish, and understand that your work does not die at your last position. Your work, whenever you get fired, your work didn't get fired. That's something that's always going to come with you. So however you're going to serve God, wherever, if that is going to be if it's going to be at one company or another company, or in a place of being self-employed, or in a place of being wherever he calls you to serve, you, like, your work comes with you. Like, they can never take that away from you. And I've heard, and I know, and I understand because the resources that are connected to your job. But once you understand and you have a confidence of God is like, God got you because he has work for you. Once you even walk into even interviews, if anyone is looking for a job and you're like, listen, I know I'm called, I know I'm here for a purpose, for a work. Now, listen, is this the place where I need to be at? You'll be the one that's asking God, do you want me to serve here? And so the thing is that I love it because one of the things that he said is that you can retire from your job. So there may be some people that have retired from their job. They may have done their job for 20, 30 years. They got the plaque, they got everything, the watch. But he says this, you cannot retire from your work because you were born to carry it out. And your assignment will take a lifetime to accomplish. So the thing is that just because you've retired doesn't mean that you're done with your work. And I'm not saying go out and get a job, but what is your work? And the thing is that wherever God has positioned you in, like you're able to really carry that out. It says, when you start looking at your work, what you are born to do, you will find your true purpose. You cannot let your job become your life, because if you lose your job, this is what I've seen, you lose your purpose in life, and you don't want to risk that outcome. So here's the thing. We talk about he talked about photography. If you're in photography, he was saying that, okay, you may think photography is your God-given gift, but in the essence of that, if you pull it back a little bit deeper, you may have an eye for beauty, like you know how to frame things. And so these are gifts that that really a job can't create. Now they can cultivate. And I will say this is that jobs prepares you for your work. Like they can prepare you and give you the skills that you need in order to cultivate your work. And so this is what he says, never confuse your work with your job. Pay attention to the difference so that you can hone in on your real work. There may be some mundane things and things that you're not really fond of on your assignment or your job, but you have to think about, okay, how is this helping cultivate my work? There are some things that need to be molded. There are some things that need to be shaped, right? And even pruned and molded for you to become the person that you need to become. So here's the list format. I love this. And this is directly from Myles Munroe, Overcoming Crisis, a really good book to read even right now, right? Your job is what you were trained to do, but your work is what you were born to do, right? On your job, I've been trained as a CPA. What was so fascinating, and I'm a CPA, was the fact that I have always been fascinating, like, and astonished and just awed by money itself. I remember being 2 years old and like seeing my mom give the cashiers money and them giving back change, and that always fascinated me. So, and I used to play with money when I was a kid. Not that we've had a lot, but he used to give me money so I can play. And so that's the thing. Like, I know that was kind of that part of that purpose. I used to play with calculators when I was 3 years old. I know I'm kind of a little bit different, right? I know. I don't know if other people have that story, but yes, I used to play with calculators. And so that's the thing. So number 2, it says your job is your career, but your work is your life assignment. So you got to see it as your life assignment. And here's the thing. If you are in questioning yourself, okay, well, what's my life assignment? I know we're talking about life assignment, life purpose. Well, the thing is, where does God have you right now? Like, ask yourself, where does God have you right now? And why does he have you positioned where he's positioned you, right? And once you start to think about that, okay, what comes naturally? Especially when you're around people, what comes naturally? Are you a person of mercy? Are you a person that can observe really quickly and tend to someone's needs? Are you a person that can know how to encourage someone right on the drop of the hat? Are you a person that can pray? what comes so naturally to you, right? And here's the thing, if you don't know, I would say you would ask those people around you. Ask the people around you, those that are kind of close to you. Okay, like what are some of the things that come naturally for me that doesn't come naturally for other people? And so some of those questions may help you hone down. But again, it is beating bad kids. Derek, I'm gonna get you. Oh man, I mean, in that, so even if we took that, right, even if we took that, you're a disciplinarian, right? You're able to do that. You may be able to be called to help kids, right, or something like that, right? So but the thing is that what comes so easy to you, here's the thing, we're so familiar with ourselves because we've been with ourselves all of our lives. I don't even notice. So my husband Tori normally has to tell me, okay, you're really good at this. Like you have to understand that um people can't do this like you do. And sometimes because you're so familiar with yourself, like you don't even acknowledge the gift that you have that can be like ever so valuable. Like you have no idea. It says your job is your skill, but your work is your gift. Again, it's your gift. Like people are blessed by the gift that you have. You can be fired from your job, but you can never be fired from your work. You can retire from your job, but you can never retire from your work. Jobs are temporary, work is permanent. So understand that whenever you are continually fulfilling your purpose, and here's the thing, it's okay for you to go throughout life, because the thing is sometimes God won't reveal, you know what I mean, like sometimes he won't reveal this is your ultimate life purpose, right? There's a difference between a calling, an assignment, and like ultimately like your purpose. And I know that that's like a deep word, but understand where you are right now in your season. You may have had to, definitely focus on your career maybe in the past, but what is he calling you to right now? And it's okay. It's okay to ask God and seek God and say, okay, God, I'm in this situation. Maybe your kids are grown, maybe they're off to college. Okay, I raised my kids. Okay, what skills were it? Oh, that's a good example. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So he gave me an example. So for me, when I was getting my accounting degree and I didn't have necessarily a lot of accounting experience, I actually was helping my mom clean corporate buildings with my mom. And so I would put that down, but then I would put those skills, I would see how those skills can translate to doing well on the job or the career that I was going for. So, yes, I have this seemingly unrelated job. Okay, yeah, I clean buildings with my mom, but guess what? I had to be independent. They didn't tell us what time we needed to come in. They gave us a general time, but they didn't tell us like you had to be here at that time. So we had to take a lot of responsibility. There was a lot of independence. So you take those things. And this was one of the things my friend Derek Ross said. I remember he said this. He was like just because you come across something new, it's not, how did he say it? I'm gonna butcher it, but I liked how he said it, because you're bringing all of your experiences, you're bringing all of who you are to that job. So even though that position or this assignment is new, you have to understand that you've overcome things in your life, maybe as a mother, maybe as a stay-at-home parent, maybe as a janitor like me. And what else did I do? I bag groceries, right? So there are some things that I'm able to take that can translate to other areas in my life, even though they may seem like, okay, that's unrelated. You were a bagger at a grocery store. Okay, how is that going to help? What are some of those things? Okay, I am independent. I had to be self-driven. I had to take initiative, right? Because we only work for tips, bagging groceries. And so what are those things that can actually translate and help you within this new position. So if you are looking to pivot, if you are looking to get in transition, understand that you're not necessarily starting from ground zero. Like, you have what God put on the inside of you, and everything that's molded you and shaped you into who you are coming into this position. Because if you think about it, if you were to maybe try, if you're going and transitioning to a new position and you maybe would have had to do it 15 years ago, you may have not been ready for it. So you had to get prepared over here in order for you to transition into that new position, into that new role. And sometimes I know that it can get very impatient, but I guarantee you that, again, my husband talked about it, like being in a place where you have contentment, where you're content and understand God has you where he wants you. And then as you have that contentment, you know that there's goals that definitely have to be crushed, right? You know, there's levels that you want to get to, but understanding that you have that contentment to know, okay, God, what is the now word? I love that, because I know prophetic people, I don't mean to get too deep, but people who can always think about the future. Like, I'm very futuristic is one of my strengths. I'm always thinking about, okay, I know we're doing this right now, but what are we doing next? What are we doing next? Like, I'm always thinking about the next thing to go to. But I had to recognize, okay, what can I do now to prepare for my next? What is God showing me? How is God working with me even right now? Okay, I may be in this position. Okay, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but guess what? God has me where he wants me. So it may be a little bit uncomfortable, but maybe I'm learning some more disciplines in different areas. Maybe he's showing me how to use this particular software. Maybe he is showing me how to manage people, or maybe he is showing me how to organize, right? A lot of stay-at-home moms, you have to be very organized, right? And so you can take those abilities and apply it to a whole nother situation. And so the thing is with overcoming crisis, if you are in a place to where you're like, okay, I don't necessarily know what he's calling me to do. Who is he called you to be, right? And once you do that, like, you're already doing it. I feel like it comes naturally. Like, the things that are associated with your work, they come so naturally. Like, they come so naturally. So yeah. So I love this. One of the things that he said was, he will resupply you with the right things and resources so you can step into your life's work. You qualified for your job because you have picked up certain skills. You may be born with a certain aptitude, but you had developed the skills that build the aptitude. So the thing is that you will be able to use the skills that you're doing right now. Even if you are looking for a job, just think about it. Let me think. Oh, let me see. Derek Jones says, shucks, should have consulted with a prophet for the winning numbers tonight. Man, seriously, that is very interesting. There's so many people buying lottery tickets. That is really, really interesting. I know. And Derek, don't forget to tithe once you win that big lottery right there. And then you said good teaching. Thank you so much. If there are any questions, I mean, that's the thing. We never retire from our life's work. That is so amazing. What I mean by work, I don't mean the busy hustle and bustle, but the things that give you life as you're doing them. You have to always do that. You have to make sure that you are fulfilling your life's work. I know my husband, hands down, he loves to serve by communicating. That is what gives him life. It's very life-giving. So whatever that is, if it is just encouraging, so whatever it is not small, it's huge. It's so huge. So y'all have been amazing. Thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing y'all. Where can I get your book? Ooh, see why you got to put me on a spot. I love it. I am going to be coming out with a book. I know my husband put out that thing a long time ago. That is still in progress. Lord, help me with that. So thank you for that. But overcoming crisis, Myles Munroe, the secrets to thriving in challenging times. And so let me know if you do have any questions. This was helpful. Thank you, Pastor. That was good teaching. Thank you so much. And praying that you are all better and everything. So, all right. Well, y'all have an amazing, amazing night. And God bless. My husband's going to be in Lawton, Oklahoma, preaching at a youth conference. I think it's free. So, if y'all going to be anywhere near Lawton, Oklahoma, feel free to come and go to my husband's page, figure out where it's at, or you can inbox me and I can give you that information. So, all right, everyone, God bless. And let me make sure there are no more questions. I don't see any. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you for your support and thanks. So, all right, guys. So, all right, everyone, God bless. And let me make sure all of you. Thank you for your support.